Welcome, dear viewers, to Couch Warrior TV on YouTube. I am the Couch Warrior, and you are watching a Character Crusade podcast panel discussion. Last October, we did our first panel discussion on Google Hangouts, and we invited to that discussion Jessa from the Jessa channel, Dirty Weasel, Dark Fox 127, Gamer Poets, and of course, the Character Crusade guys. We were all there together. We had a wonderful discussion that was really focused on the launch of Skyrim Special Edition. And it went so well that we decided to do it again. So here we are, almost a year later, with another panel discussion. And this one is bigger and better than ever. So we did this on the 15th of September, and it was a lot of fun. And this one is great because we also brought in Rycon, who contributed a whole bunch of great content to this panel discussion, and we had all of our previous members back. So, without further ado, I bring to you the panelist discussion of mods and Bethesda's Creation Club initiative.
I think it is great that you're putting in that extra effort to make the mods, the things that you're adding to the world, make sense and fit in with the lore. And I don't want to open a can of worms. I really don't. I don't want this to be the whole thing. But
open that can.
Open it.
So you know how just recently there was a certain program announced by Bethesda, and they've released content.
Here comes the fun.
Here we go.
And Michael,
what I've found a little disappointing is, there's many things, but like one of the disappointing things is that obviously this content, it's kind of promised to come along with like a quest of sorts to find them. And it's one of those things where it just kind of like, it sticks out to me as something that's really strange. Like, I don't think I would trust it as a character, for example, because all of a sudden you psychically know where this item is. And it's just like go there, pick this up. Okay, great. That's done. Like, there is no lore associated with it as well. There doesn't seem to be any real thought as to where the items are placed. It's just like, this isn't a container. There, we said there was a quest to go along with it, and that's it. And
there is a quest that goes with these new ones, right, Con? It's a quest of about 250 credits.
We were actually talking about this earlier on. We were doing sort of because we were crapping ourselves that we wouldn't know what to say. So we were like going through some of the topics, and we're like, okay, what can we contribute to this? And we came across this, and obviously we ended up on Creation Club because So we came to this, and we did mention, as you've just said, they haven't had any real attempt to put it into the game well. And it's like, okay, what would the difference between a mod and official Bethesda DLC be? Or one of the differences? You would think it would be the implementation. And I don't just mean like the file type. I mean like the way it's put into the world. And some of the stuff on Creation Club is pretty much, well, we have this concept weapon and we couldn't be bothered to make it or asked to make it, or it got scrapped, or we didn't have time. And now the Creation Club, we'll just get Barney over there to go and whip this thing up, and we'll just slap it in your inventory when you start the game. It's like, that feels like a mod. That doesn't feel like official Bethesda content.
You know what's funny?
And go on.
If you dig through Pete Hines' tweets, he says that they are neither mods nor DLC, because people were talking shit about him, saying that if it was DLC, my season pass would allow me to get it all for free. So he started going and saying it's not DLC, so people can't use their season pass.
That's weird. It's like, what the hell are these things then? It's like, because they're not implemented well at all. Like the one weapon is not the only thing. I mean, you've got
the Chinese stealth armor. That's one that I saw as well. That's just sitting in a chest. It's just kill a few things outside. It's like the whole thing is like, I expected it to be kept somewhere secret, not just in a box that someone could have walked along within the last 200 years and picked it up. Like, this is an item that a lot of people would want, and I'm like, why in 200 years years? Has no one come here? Or did someone come in the last 15? And they were just like,
I'm the one to find this chest.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like someone's come along in the last 15. They're like, oh, this is an incredible piece of technology. I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to put it in this box here, along with some caps. You know,
it's not
maybe
my
some other
size.
components. Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah.
So in Bethesda's mind, the way this works, you're a level 10 and you are role-playing a tramp. He's got a bit of combat experience, but he's a tramp. He's got no food. He's got no money. He's walking along, and one day he has the greatest of luck, and he comes across this chest with Chinese stealth armor. He doesn't care where it comes from, who put it there, but my God, this guy's struck lucky. Now he can pick this on, put this thing on, he can crouch down, he can walk into the closest, well, sort of bank, I suppose, or vault, and he can steal all of their crap, and now he's living in an old pre-war mansion with a few holes in the wall. That's how Bethesda seems to be.
It all makes sense now.
Implementing this stuff.
It's the story of Pete Hines.
He's also lucky. He's lucky that his Pip-Boy notified him the exact location as to where it would be as well. I mean, I would find that suspicious. I'd be going, okay, so all of it, I'm just walking around, just doing my daily thing in the wastelands, and all of a sudden, like, there is a notification on my Pip-Boy where I'm like, I thought I had notifications disabled, and yeah, it's like, come here for awesome
exactly.
And it's,
that coordinates, not Morrowind style where you go west and then to the mountain, make a right, and then follow on through the third tree. No, it's like go to coordinate, this by this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious. I have a theory about the Creation Club, a conspiracy theory.
Oh, please do.
I don't have my tinfoil hat ready. I've got it tucked away.
Everybody sits up a little straighter now.
That did happen.
Spread
I think-
innuendo and rumor.
Yeah.
I think this is serious. This is my serious theory. I think that the Creation Club was came as a result of our own folly, because Creation, they first started to bring out mods on Steam, and we all remember that whole debacle. That was huge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they took them off of Steam, and I think a lot of us felt, I read that people felt that yes, we had won a victory, and the community talked back. But there was a post by who's the head of Steam again? What's his name?
Gabe.
Gabe Newell. He put a post on Reddit, and he said, it looks like we screwed up. This is right when the whole thing, this is before Bethesda had backed out. He put a post on Reddit, and he said, my inbox has 3,000 messages in it. It looks like we screwed up and pissed off the internet. And then he wrote about how, the 80 by 20 split is decided by the developers and all this, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, Steam was getting so much heat from so much anger from this that I suspect that Gabe Newell, who couldn't take all of this stuff coming at him on, for one game on his huge game platform, went to Bethesda and said, dudes, you gotta take this somewhere else. I can't deal with it. It's too much work for our Steam employees. So Bethesda said, okay, well, we'll take it off. And everybody thought, we won, no more paid mods. And then Bethesda went off in the corner and said, let's make our own little platform, kind of like EA's stupid platform, or whatever it is. And let's just make our own platform over here. Now they have no control. I mean, Steam has no control over them. I mean, for the mods. And they can do whatever they want, whereas before they had to follow Steam's rules like all the other developers. And they basically have their whole toy box, and now we basically can't. I mean, we can't get them to take it down. I mean, it's theirs, We can't. There's no Gabe. There's no Jesus to go complain to. Jesus Newell. I mean,
all we can do is go, Bethesda, please stop this crap.
And they won't, because they don't have to.
No.
So I kind of think, though I don't think that being upset about it, anything, and I don't think the community did anything wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the result of it was that they said, okay, fine, we're going to take our toys, and you're still going to pay for them, and you're going to end up paying more. And we're going to get more because it's on our own platform now, and you can't do anything about it. So thoughts, what do you guys think?
It's made a hell of a disconnect now as well, because the Bethesda launcher is just it's even got its own file format, as I understand. I haven't looked into all of it a lot because, quite frankly, I don't even care too much for the Creation Club, as luckily it doesn't seem to affect free modding at the moment. But it's making such a disconnect because there's now these different file types that are going to be used. It's going to start interfering with load orders. It's going to be downloading things automatically. It's going to mess with the executable. And then things like SKC may have issues and have to do more work. And it's going to start pushing some modders to like, you know what? I'm done. I can't keep messing with this junk. And I'm going to just go and mod maybe a new game that comes out that has a fresh team of devs who are really open and honest with their community. And they'll maybe build their own kit, and they might end up starting something that could gradually grow into Skyrim. And people just start leaving away.
Yeah.
And
My concern too, which you can probably, well, you could tell me this more than I could. It's just like a guess of mine regarding file types. Now that they're doing mods, couldn't they control the type of files that get loaded into the game via, like, this file type can only be loaded into the game via Bethesda's launcher or whatever it is? If they do that, say they start doing things like allowing you to surpass the plugin limit with this specific file type, now you can only pass. You can get the plugin, how am I trying to say it? You can get the open plugins. You can use 1,000 plugins if you go through Bethesda, but you can only use 256.
Basically making locking down features.
Locking down,
so
exactly.
So modding is still free, but we're just going to keep
for now.
Yeah, we're just going to keep kicking in the nuts till it doesn't make sense anymore.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, we can always just stop updating as well. I think, if we're not updating, as long as we're not, we should be okay for the most part. But because, I mean, in terms of the updates, there isn't going to be anything updated in either Fallout, any of the Fallouts, or any of the Elder Scrolls games. I don't think there's anything that's going to be added now that's going to fix any bugs, because they don't do that. Yeah. So I don't think there's any like real reason to be updating. So I think it'll just be turning off updates through Steam and hoping for the best.
Yep.
You could have many issues with that alone, though. I mean, the one thing is, we noticed, we checked the other day that Steam didn't seem to let you not have updates anymore. It had various different ways of allowing them through at different times or whatever, but the no updates didn't seem to be there anymore. The only thing that we could see was allowing updates only as you launch the game. So we think, well, if you had something like SKC that bypasses the main launcher, then you get right around it. But what happens if you've just reinstalled your system or reinstalled your game and you hit that one button and it launches that launcher, updates your game, and how do you get your previous version before all of that crap? And
even bigger than that, we're talking about games that exist. What happens when the next game comes out and that's there from the beginning?
Yeah.
I think it's particularly a scary situation for those of us who are trying to craft a story, and we've got viewers who are invested, in what it is we're doing. I can tell you many times, I mean, like, I back up my save games. I try to back up the mods I've downloaded that are critical to my story and stuff like that. But there have been a couple of times now where, I've had to rebuild my system and I've had to replay a character up to a certain point so I could resume a story. I mean, this, shit happens, and for me, the scariest thing is that I'm going to get, down the road on the story with a bunch of people invested, and suddenly things are going to stop working, or things are going to be unavailable to me, or things are going to happen that I'm not expecting that cause me to not be able to continue the story as I had intended. That to me is the possibility that could happen is frustrating.
Yep, for sure. So, something you actually mentioned earlier, I don't want to stray too far from what we're talking about now. I just want to say, you mentioned earlier about having to take notes so you don't lose your place and where you are, and all the quests that have gone on and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's one of the major reasons that I haven't been able to continue Paxton. I have no clue where the hell he is right now.
Right.
And I wanted to say something about that earlier, but I didn't want to cut anybody off. But no, it's important. It's
a very real issue when you're creating a story that's involved. It has taken me so far. I've only reviewed the first 2 acts of my previous story. I have 1 act to go, and it's the most complicated one.
Yeah.
And as I've been going through, I've been taking notes and I've been putting up bullet points onto a website, creating an episode guide for those people who want to follow along, and they can look at the bullet points and see what the high points of the story are. But for me to go back and review all the videos that I have so far to get caught up, and I'm only 2 acts in, it has taken me 20 hours at least. And to build the web pages that go with it. Basically, what I'm doing with the web pages is I'm taking, the notes that I'm taking on the story and sharing them with everyone else, so that they can use them as well. Cool. It's, it's a lot of work to invest, and if you don't know if the platform that you're basing your story on is going to pull the rug out from under you at any moment, that's
really sucks.
The investment of time sketchy, right? But I'm moving forward, kind of assuming that I'm going to be able to do what I need to do. So
that's all. That is, sorry, yeah, I was going to say that is the nightmare, isn't it? It's a nightmare that all those years could. I mean, I've done a lot of rebuilding as well, and that panic is always there. I always triple backup saves.
Yeah.
I'll copy every single mod across as well, just to be sure that I haven't somehow broken it, and kind of hope that I haven't.
Even beyond crafting stories, talking about the creation kit coming out and what we've all built on our channels, part of what I have to craft to keep my channel alive is a paycheck. And if I don't have a decent amount of income from the channel to where I can support this stuff, because I'm on disability, I can't afford to buy new pieces on my computer. If this ever gets to the point to where people are really just disgusted with it, even my tutorials, anything I do, the viewers go, people lose interest in it. They're not as big on if modders don't keep making these big, expansive programs that allow us to do things because it's so popular and so many people want them. The channel dies, my income goes away, the stories go away, and all of the years put into this, it wasn't for nothing. I've enjoyed everything so far. I've enjoyed meeting you guys. This is great. I love chatting with you folks. It's like my highlight of my 6 months. It's really is. But at the same time, it's like it's scary on that end, because for someone like me, I need that extra couple of dollars, and I made the choice to get away from the part-time stuff that I was doing and put all of my time into the YouTube channel. And now, having made that choice, if everything comes crumbling down because people get sick of the modding community, or people just don't want to watch these types of videos anymore, or enough people don't want to watch them anymore, especially the people that become patrons, people like me, Rycon, and I'm sure the rest of you guys in some aspect are a little screwed.
Yeah, that brings up, Creation Club brings up, thank you, Boo-Boo. Creation Club brings up a lot of fear. And I feel it in the community, the people that are afraid of having their game, their enjoyment, something they've put a lot of time into, lockdown. Then you have people like us who are doing channels, and some of our income, or at least supporting the channel, depends on Skyrim. But on the other hand, Skyrim has been out. It's the only game besides The Sims, it's the only game I know of that you can play for 5 years and still have income coming in. Eventually, Skyrim's going to go away. Something new is going to come. So we all have to, I don't only speak for myself, diversify. That's why I'm doing things like XCOM, and I've never really been completely just one Skyrim channel, always roleplay everything. But the fact that Bethesda's taking such a stranglehold on our experience and locking it down so that it's their game. It always has been, but their playing field. And if we are lucky and have enough money, we can get on.
I think
really nervous.
I think Rycon could comment on this. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
I think I'm going to take a contrarian viewpoint than most of the panel here. I don't think that the Creation Club is a threat as most people think it is. I think that, for the most part, Bethesda is looking to get more revenue. I don't think they're going to shut down the free modding community. I don't think they're going to do anything horribly to break our games in the process. I think that there is a modding market out there for consoles, and they're going to tap into that. Creation Club is not designed around the PC modder. It's designed to get microtransactions from the console community. We are the minority here. You have to remember that the number of PC modders that go into Fallout 4 or Skyrim is a mere fraction, about 5% of what goes on with the consoles. Remember, we're talking about, I think when the modding community first came out for consoles, when Bethesda launched it, it was about 10 times the monthly downloads for the consoles that it was for the PCs. And that would be comparing Bethesda.net direct downloads into consoles versus the Nexus. I don't think that they're going to really affect us too much. There are ways around the Creation Club. The Fallout 4 file thing with ESLs versus ESPs versus ESMs. I talked to TrainWiz about it, and it's not just ESLs. They're not going to shut us out. It's still going to be, larger file formats depending on the size of the mod. They're basically doing the ESLs to try and, expand the mod limit without interfering with load orders too much. As far as the content itself, yeah, it's lazy. It's poorly written. It's typical Bethesda. But it's what that they can sell to the console community. For us personally, I don't think that it's going to, change things all that much. They will rewrite the executables to allow the launching of the mods so that you can get them from Bethesda.net within the game itself. But as the F4SC community, they found out that they could update, Fallout 4 script extender in about a day. And they had it back up and running. And it didn't break any big mods that the Fallout 4 community had. So it wasn't as dire of a situation as a lot of people are making out. I think that when Skyrim console or Creation Club comes out, that it's going to be that detrimental to it. We have a SKSE 64 alpha came out a couple days ago. That's good news, and I think that they are now progressing on that so that if they do come out with Creation Club executable does change, that the SKSE team will be able to make an adjustment very, very quickly. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Did Bethesda screw the pooch on it? Yeah, absolutely. They rolled this out. This is, quite obvious they did not do a very good job on it. But I still have a little bit of faith that they will correct themselves. I think they realize some of the problems that's going on. I don't listen to Pete Hines at all. He's a corporate guy. He doesn't play the games.
I hate him.
I think that I'll just ignore him. There's two different entities. You have Bethesda Game Studios. That's Todd Howard and that small team. Then you have Bethesda Softworks, which is the publisher, and the publisher end is the one pushing the Creation Club. So Pete works for them. He doesn't play the games. He's a corporate guy. I don't think that he is number one, knowledgeable enough about what goes on, or B, really cares. He's there to be a spokesman for the company, and that's his job. So I don't listen to him. As far as the content, adding to your hard drive, yeah, that's a bad idea. I think they know that now. We have thrown that in their face, beat them over the head with it, and they won't do that again. I think that they'll revamp things to fix it. And I think just like everything else, Bethesda does stupid stuff. That's just the way they do things.
On a regular basis. The thing is,
on a regular basis, absolutely.
Even though we are only 5%, we have a big voice. And absolutely. I mean, the mods come from that 5%.
It sends quite the shockwave when the PC modding community shouts off. It sends a shockwave throughout the whole lot. It's kind of like, hey, this is crap, and it's like an echo across everything, even across the consoles. Even the console users will be like, the PC gamers are bitching again. They'll hear it and it'll spread, and then Bethesda will hear it, and they tend to do stuff. I think that the feeling is just
it created a negative PR community or negative PR reaction. And that's what corporations hate, is negative PR. They don't care about, what we think individually, but they care about the PR.
Don't you get the sense, though? I'm sorry. Don't you get the sense that Bethesda seems like really tone deaf when it comes to the what is it? What people will accept?
82 keys, all the same note.
It's what I think is really interesting about that is, I feel like every time they do one of these things, I should be, seeing something in a tech magazine, or something about, who in marketing at Bethesda's been fired. but that never happens, right? You don't see that, of course. They won't share that information, but it's like, to me, it boggles the mind. I'm a marketing person. I've been in marketing for a while. You don't do things that inflame your fan base, right? And I think one of the things that I think is really important, and Cal, I really appreciate your perspective on this, because I often forget. I look at this stuff and I often forget that things like Creation Club are really, they're highly targeted at console players and stuff like that, and I lose track of that sometimes. But even so, you got to wonder why they would roll something out like this without first having something in the offering that provided real value. I mean, really significant value. Give us something of value and then roll it out to accolades, as opposed to putting a collection of strange, inconsequential stuff in there and then rolling it out and having it being, panned by everyone as garbage.
I've just got this feeling that there's a guy at Bethesda in their marketing department that realizes when shit goes bad, and he's just sitting there and he's like, he's reading all of this stuff from the marketing community. He's like, Steve screwed up again. And then they have to go and spend the next month trying to fix it and talk to people and be like, okay, what can we do to fix all this damn mess again? And they never learn, though.
Yeah, it gives you the impression that they're doing marketing and PR as kind of a shotgun approach, as opposed to, doing any real research on who their audience is. But that frustrates me, because I like what they produce. I like the games that they produce, but they do a lot of things that are dumb and frustrate me that I wish they wouldn't do.
They trap themselves. Go ahead, Michael.
No. Mine's quick. Okay. I was just saying, what I think sums up the whole corporate marketing side of Bethesda, you can sum it up real easy. As far as modding goes, Mr. Hines needs a lot of ketchup.
Somehow,
best line in the podcast, you win.
It's so appropriate. The Gamer Poets Meat logo. Ketchup on a slab of raw meat is what I'm.
Oh yeah, your logo is like a big slab of meat.
It is a big slab of meat. It's my big slab of meat.
That's all meat.
And when Pete stood on that stage at E3 and they announced the Creation Club, and they said, and they trapped themselves with this, it was going to come out this summer.
Yeah,
this summer. So they had to get something out. And my impression of the mods that they made available to Fallout 4 were not done by creators. None of them were. It was really poor quality. There was no backstory. There was no quest mods. There were no interesting things going on. I think those are assets and weapons and armors that were hanging around the Bethesda junk pile in their junk closet, and said, oh, let's go and throw these in here. And we just put them in a box and say, okay, go get it, which is just typical Fallout 4 writing. If you look at what the creators are doing, you have some talented guys there that are working on stuff. And they've told me that, hey, you got to be patient. It's coming. But Bethesda found out that, hey, this stuff takes time. And it doesn't come on a deadline sometimes with the way that the marketing and the corporate weenies decide to do things. So they had to roll something up by summer because they promised by summer, instead of just saying, oh, it's not ready. Yeah, it's not ready. And that's why we haven't seen the Skyrim Creation Club take off, because nothing's ready.
Yeah. What about...
Well, they'd already made horse armor for Skyrim. That's why.
Yeah.
They already had
not
that.
Living that down. Yeah. You would think that horse armor debacle would teach them not to, you would think. But anyway, because Todd Howard is still, and it was still so piddly, and it was just showing where their mind was going, or at least where Softworks' mind was going, and that was years and years ago. But I'm just
get the feeling that.
Fuck that horse.
I'm just wondering
You just
what.
get the feeling that they've got a calendar, don't you? They've got a monthly calendar of like, right, we have to screw up here. We've got a month to figure out the next screw up.
Well, they say no press is, bad press. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they have plenty of press. I'm curious to know what the modders who are on the Creation Club. Does anyone know? Cal, you might know. What do some of them think? I mean, what's their experience been? I know. A lot of modders are going to Patreon now and seeing some pretty good numbers. I mean, nothing to sneeze at. So, do you know? Anybody know?
What I can and can't say. So far, most of them are happy with the process. They say that there's better stuff coming, that what you're seeing right now is not a true reflection of what the Creation Club is capable of. The rollout for Fallout 4 was premature. They agree with the community that the way it was implemented by just dropping in all the mods into your hard drive was the worst possible way of doing things. But I can't go to specifics on what individuals are saying.
From what I can tell,
TrainWiz has been public about it, and I can tell you a little bit about it, stuff like that. But other mod authors that are in the Creation Club, I can't speak individually because they have not come out publicly.
From what I can tell, as it stands at the moment, I think a lot of people are just, because of the amount of screw-ups over the past years, and especially with Skyrim and the modding community and what Bethesda's trying to push, which is just making some extra money off mods, I think people are just getting that fear that there's going to come a point where Bethesda's just going to get sucked into the rest of the gaming crowd with like EA and Ubisoft, where they're just not going to care anymore, and they're going to do what they want. They're like, you know what, screw you, we don't care, we just want to make lots of money, and they're not going to be the Bethesda that we know.
Well, that's normal corporate environment. That's the way things run.
Yeah. But there's also the thing that, like, as it stands with the Creation Club, as long as it doesn't affect free modding, me personally, I don't care. It's like, people want to go and buy that stuff, go for it. I'm good. I'll leave it alone. I'll keep going. And I think at this moment in time, the Creation Club, it's looking great for the creators over there, the modders that have become the creators of the Creators Club. A deal for them, it's fantastic. But unfortunately, at the moment, for the consumer, it's just throwing nothing but bad and lacking value. And
I agree.
Unless that changes, people are just going to keep attacking. And I think, obviously, you're still going to get the minority of people out there that are still going to just attack it regardless now, because it's had a bad start. Be like, no, screw it. It's rubbish. I won't touch it.
What I've seen is I've seen on Twitter some, very accomplished and well-respected modders who are part of Creation Club, standing up and vehemently defending it, saying it's the value is coming. People just need to be patient. So, and these are people who I respect a lot, and just in terms of things that they've created and so forth. So, I mean, I guess my hope is that if and when this rolls out for Skyrim, at least it's done in more of a thoughtful way.
Agreed.
I would hope. So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, since it started, I've been a supporter of the Creation Club until recently. I was always very positive about it, very hopeful for it. But then you just get that miss after miss after miss, and then the launch, and then the this, and then the that, and the files. And I can see how it gets very depressing and very worrisome for people looking towards the future. It's just, will the Creation Club do what it can do, or is it just going to keep doing what it is doing? And that's where I think the fear with everybody is. I've always said I'm all for modders getting paid for modding. If they can make if they can make money doing what they love doing, fuck yeah, man, go do it. That's what I'm doing with Gamer
That's
Poets.
what we're doing, exactly. I don't see any reason why they shouldn't. We use their mods, make our stories, make a little bit of money off of it, and I see no reason why they shouldn't have that too.
Yeah, I've always supported that. I've always supported people being able to get paid for what they love doing. It's just, like everyone's already said, we've already stated it so many times over, they just really screwed up the launch. And everyone's just hoping. I mean, you guys are giving me a little bit more faith for the future, just chatting with you guys, Cal and everybody else. I mean, you know, there could be a good thing in the future with this, and you know, maybe the rioting on the interwebs has helped with that a little bit. We can only wait and see, I suppose.
Yeah.
Right, same here, really. I've had quite the negative view. I mean, hell, as soon as what was it that got announced before that last live stream where I had a load of fun with the pre-show? What was it that was announced then? Was it? It was literally launched. I think it was when it launched to Fallout 4, and it was like all of the credits and such. And I was like, oh, I was like, at first when it was announced, I was like, oh, are they going to do it properly? And then when we got the bad info, I was like, oh, for God's sake. And it's like, no, wait, could be promising. It's like, oh, and then it's like, no, another scrub. It's like, oh, no, I don't know how to think about it anymore. And then you get easily driven into all of this is rubbish, this is ridiculous.
I own a
and
pitchfork.
then I'm like, you know what?
You know,
with my laid backness, I'm like, right, I'm going to start this stream. We're going to have some fun. So I lay out the pre-show. We've got Todd Howard on there. We've got money raining down, and we've got ABBA going along with money. And then I just had a half an hour non-scripted rant about it. I'm like, you know what? That's it. I'm done. That's not.
Did you mic drop? Did you headphone drop at the end? Were you just like?
Oh, I probably should have. I was just like, let's get back to some modding.
So I need to go. Unfortunately, we have a busy day today, and I told Stu about this. But before I go, I wanted to ask what the heck. I just forgot it. Shoot. I wanted to say that I do a lot of indie games on my channel, and I think a lot of the fear around the Skyrim thing comes from the fact that it's all we have. I mean, it's the only game that does anything like this. I mean, we have Fallout 4, but if you want the whole swords fighting thing, this is pretty much it. So I guess my hopeful little nugget to leave here is that I really see computers, technology, programs, knowledge, and people who are interested in game developing increasing every year. Yeah, and there are, the need almost, it's almost a need in some people to have a place to get away, like the holodeck. You know, I mean, if the holodeck were invented, half of the world would disappear forever. But the Skyrim is the closest thing we have to be able to create a world where you can go into and just forget for a while. That need is so human and so profound that even if I think Bethesda is not going to always be the only one with that opportunity. Other people are going to come around and they're going to make new games, and technology is going so quickly that I would say in a optimistic 3 to 5 years before someone can come up with something that might scratch the same itch.
There's a really awesome zombie game coming out. They're developing it right now. Not the one we talked about before, Stu. It's supposed to be open world called
Is it Wit and Lore? Oh no, okay.
Called Dead Matter. And it's supposed to be completely open world. It's set in Canada, and it's zombies and stuff, but you build your stuff up, you survive, you live, you have all the systems where you have to eat, drink, and stuff. But it really feels like if they do it right, it could be a really good open world sort of game for building your own story in that kind of environment.
Well, I know of another zombie game that's in development at the moment, actually. Pretty cool zombie game that's in development at the moment. One that I'm actually developing myself. One that I'm working on myself. Except that, it's not a traditional video game. It's a pen and paper role-playing game. So more like, you're more like your D&D. But
I like Z-Land. I like the Z-Land thing.
Oh, great. Fantastic. Yeah. So, imagination, there are no limits. We are our own modders in that sense. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So go pick that shit up.
I think we need to say goodbye to Jessa and how much we love her.
So Jessa, take care.
Thank you so much, Jessa.
Thank you, guys. Sorry I couldn't stay longer, but next time we're doing this again, right, Stu?
Oh yeah. Yeah. These are too fun not to do.
As always, it's a pleasure.
Yeah. And I just want to say bye to Cal and Michael and Sim and Dark Fox and Rycon, my new best friend. And and thanks, you guys. Okay, you guys have a great day. All right.
You too.
See you. Bye, Jessica.
Bye.
Bye. See you later.
Ladies and gentlemen, what we are going to do is we're going to take this opportunity to take a little break. Everybody gets a bio break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to do some Q&A. We covered a lot of stuff in the first half of this panel, but we're going to do a Q&A. And this is what I would request of you. If basically you'll be able to pose questions to the panel in the live chat. If there is someone specifically you want to ask a question to, what I would like you to do is I would like you to put the name of that individual all in caps, okay? We need you to use all capital letters to pose your question. If it's to the entire panel, you can just put in question. If it's to a specific content creator or YouTuber or whoever, put their name there. All right.
I have a question for Rycon, actually, before we get right into the main Q&A. How do we do that?
What? I no idea what we're talking about. No, none at all.
If you're interested in keeping track of when new panel discussions are coming up, you can find that information always. It'll be released on my Twitter stream, which can be found at Character Wonk. You can also hit the website at charactercrusade.com, or of course, CouchWarriorTV. You can also look forward to those members of the panel making announcements about what's coming up in their own channel updates, town hall meetings, things of that nature. So again, we all appreciate very much your attendance and your attention and your interest in viewing these panel discussions. That is what helps us keep them going. So thank you all very much, and we'll see you next time.
Come on, YouTube. Don't be a tit.
Oh, don't get me started on YouTube.
Mike sucks.
I guess.
Jesus, that is a tweet, isn't it?
Yeah, I just saw that as well.
It's unique.
So I was late because I was having breakfast made for me. It was awesome.
Well, that's nice.
My girlfriend came over and made me German pancakes. It was so
God
fun.
damn it.
Was
This is how you
Cake and pancakes.
It
We
was-
had cake, you
I've
had
never-
pancakes.
I've never had them before. It was lovely. And everybody else is being kind of quiet. Hey, Cal.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, baby.
Hey,
How you doing, honey? How you doing?
well,
Last night was great. Hey.
I know. Wow.
I woke up needing lots of orange juice.